Yo, what up, everybody, guys? Hey, it's good to see everybody here today, guys. Welcome, man. This is your boy, and I'm not here alone, guys. As you have seen the title of this live stream today, we have like a 1 hour to spend here today. To be honest, I didn't know that today is a very special day, and my brother just reminded me a couple minutes ago, and I'm like, why not doing this, stream right away? So I'm just gonna pray a little quick, and then I'll bring my friends right here, and we'll have this discussion and this conversation. And I thank you for today. As you're having this conversation, I pray that you'll give us wisdom and you'll be here with us. In your name I pray. Amen. Guys, if you can copy this link and share with somebody, it will be amazing, man. Personally, I really want to know who is Marcus Garvey. All right. I know a lot of you, maybe you know, maybe you don't know, maybe there's details of him that you don't know, but today we found out about him. So I appreciate for everybody who is joining, and just remember to share this link with somebody just to get more quality on Marcus Garvey. I have my brother here already. Hey, my brother, what's up?
Yes, brother. How are you? How is everything?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm doing great. It's good to hear you. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a minute. Well, I told you guys we don't see me I'm working.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Always working.
Yeah, I know you're always busy, my brother, but I'm really glad. Thank you so much, first of all, for reaching out, and letting me know about this day, this amazing day, because to be honest, I had no idea. So when you texted me, I just had to go right away, on Google and Google down to see what it's all about. So I'm here to learn, my brother. I'm here to listen, and I think a lot of people, they need to hear, they need to learn, they need to listen, and there's no other better person than you to let us know who is Marcus Garvey.
So Marcus Garvey was a Pan-Africanist, internationalist, um, a philanthropist, uh, a speechwriter. Man, this man was so many things. But
Mm, mm,
you know what? What I
mm,
really think that should be on our minds today is how
mm,
we can replicate his work, seeing that we are living in the same time that
mm,
he was living in when he was here.
mm,
Because when Marcus Garvey set on his mission, it was
mm,
actually a same time like we're living in right now, where there's this new scramble for Africa. And it was
mm,
Marcus Garvey who stood up for all African people all over the world and said, Africa for who? Africans. Those at
mm,
home and those abroad.
mm,
You know what I mean? So this consciousness, even in 1919, 100 and something years ago, this consciousness was already there. And it's coming back to us right now, It's almost like a train coming back to see if we're ready to get on it again.
yeah.
This is the same time, and we all should be working towards what he was working towards, because if you look at his flag and everything, like
Mm,
he assumed a huge responsibility to be the
mm,
driving force, and to be a vehicle that will push Africans out of the state that they're in, and that they were in at that time, into a
mm,
state where they can be respected.
mm,
Not respected by begging for respect, but be respected by building your own and digging the foundation, making sure that whatever you build is strong, and not just building and aid and building and sponsors and those things. His efforts came directly from the black community,
mm,
all over the world. More than 11 million people was connected to his newspaper that
mm,
helped him buy the Black Star Line and all of these
mm,
different things that he ended up doing
mm,
when he was here. And
mm,
he also said when they deported him, when they charged him with these false charges and deported him,
mm,
he also said that he will come back like a whirlwind. He
mm,
always say he will come back like a whirlwind. And what he meant by that is that he will come back to the Africans that would read his work after he's passed.
mm,
You know?
mm.
Um, so honestly, I don't have a long thing to say, because I'm still at work right now. So I'll be coming in now and again. I hope other people join you. You said we have 1 hour, right?
Yeah. We have less than an hour right now.
Less than an hour now. So I hope that a lot of other people join, because I'm still at work, man. I could go on all day about Marcus Garvey, man, all day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you know that's where most of my ideas are rooted from, anyway. With Triangle. So I'm
Yeah.
really passionate about his work. I still don't know. I marvel at Marcus Garvey work, like how people of the world marvel at the pyramids. That's how I marvel at his work, because I don't know how he could have built something that powerful and that strong in those times when you couldn't even stop on the highway in certain places in America. You couldn't stop on the highway without being black, without risking being killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah. So I'll hope that some other people come in and talk.
But I really want to know this, my brother. So if it is like someone who like never heard about Marcus Garvey before, don't know anything about Marcus Garvey before, how, like, what would you tell him? What would you I know you know a lot about him, but what for those who, for someone who don't know anything, like, who is this guy? Like, and wants to find out. I wish this stream can help them to find out who is this guy.
Well, Marcus Garvey was I'll tell you how the story began, how I will begin the story. Marcus Garvey was, as I said, was a Pan-Africanist who spent all his life working for to free the minds of black people all over the world, no matter where they were.
Yeah.
A Jamaican, came from Jamaica, went to America in 1919. Realized that the power base for African people was in America, the economic power base. So he stayed there and organized them intelligently. But never got a chance to set foot on the continent. That's how I would explain to him, because I want all Africans across the world to know, not because you're not on the continent, not because we wasn't born on the continent, or any specific place, doesn't mean that you guys are not in our hearts and minds. And I'm sure that over there as well, just because you guys are not born in this side of the Caribbean, this side of the world, does not mean that we are not in you guys' heart and minds. And Marcus Garvey actually put it out there that he made a flag. He made a flag. He was the one who made the red, green, and black flag. Wow. Red for the blood that was shed, black for ourselves as Africans, and green for the land, or something like that. And he also made a national anthem as well for Africa, an all African national anthem. So that's what I will explain to people at the beginning who Marcus Garvey was, because that should intrigue them enough so that they will do their own research. And some people in your chat asking, what are you planning to do to continue contributing to his movement? Somebody tell this guy what's happening. What's happening here, because I don't know who this person is.
The guy says story time all day.
Yeah, story time.
Yeah, it's definitely Mr. Don Mario Johnson. I believe you're new, in this space. In order for you to catch up with everything that we are doing and how we are doing this, and what we are planning to do, I think you really need to to go through a lot of our works and a lot of our videos that we already created. But well, it's you need story time to put on the action, right? And we have some of the action, some of the work that we are carry on the movement. I'm talking to Reach here, my brother, the founder of Triangle, right? That is the work that has been done. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're talking about Marcus Garvey. I remember when you were sharing this area, you said that you want to continue the work that all these great people that you're looking up to have been doing in the past. And allow me to show this video a little while, and then we'll come back, continue with this conversation. Are you allowing me, the architect?
Of course, man.
All right. So check this out, Mr. Robinson.
You want to support independent economic movements around the world but don't know how? Welcome to Triangle. An independent social-economic network right in the palm of your hands. Check on the progress of the projects you are interested in. Watch live videos of the projects that you either donate to or are interested in. Comment on the project with your friends, or contribute to the project while it is live. Check the hottest business plan submission all around the globe. Get an instant update on new business ideas that are submitted through our unique submission system. Upload content about your own business progress. Start a live video to show the world or pictures of your progress. Get personal with the people that had contributed to your project, and also to the people to whom you have contributed to. Search the globe for all the active projects to see what you might be interested in. Start engaging with the future. Sign up for Triangle.
Well, you see that? That's part of the work that is being done by our brother here that I'm talking to him right now to contribute to his movement and pretty much to contribute to our movement, because we're not just going to sit here and be like, hey, we want to fulfill what, he started, but we want to fulfill what we see right now. You know what I'm saying? He has done his part. Our ancestors have done their part in the past, and we're here. We took up the stick and we're moving forward to carry on into the next, into the next level. Yes, my brother, the architect.
Yeah, thank you for showing that, man. Thank you for showing that, because a lot of times we get frustrated and we look outside ourselves and we keep pointing fingers and saying, what are you doing? What are you doing to do this? What are you doing to do that, But we are all like, it's better if we come together and work in unison than to continue to point at each other and say, what are you doing? If you one smart analogy that I've realized, if you look at how sardines behave when they're about to be attacked by predators in the ocean. Remember, sardines get attacked by everything, dolphins, other sardines, bigger sardines, whales, the great whales, everything attacks sardines, and the way how the sardines try to defend themselves is that they know they can feel frequency in the water. They can feel when something's coming from like 100 yards or something more. So what they start doing is that they start balling up together and spinning, because when they ball up together and spin, it intimidates the predators. And I feel like that's what African people need to do, because Africa is like a sardine among predators. This is one of the reasons why Marcus Garvey actually wanted to got up and said Africa for Africans, those at home and those abroad, because Africa was there was a scramble for Africa around 1919 already, right? So, and he stood up, and said, this is ours. So basically, he stood up like, I could put that in comparison to how the sardines come together and they start spinning in a big sardine ball in order to intimidate the predators. I think that's what Marcus Garvey was doing. That's what he did. That's why they hated him so much. That's why they had to deport him. That's why they had to give him trumped up charges. You know what I mean? That's why they had to make sure that his movement didn't continue, because it was so intimidating to them when he did what he did that they had to stop him. But I'm gonna leave you for a couple minutes because I have someone here, and then I'll be back.
All right. So guys, I shared the link in the comment section. If you, by any chance, what you believe in Africa right now, were inspired by Marcus Garvey, and today is his day. I want you to come in and to also raise your point. What do you think we can learn from this amazing figure that is really important into this movement of fighting for, for the blacks, fighting for Africa? We have a lot of heroes, of our people who have done a lot to contributing to what we're doing today. And you cannot move forward without learning from the past. All right, without learning from the past, that's the only way to move forward, because it was done before and it can be done again. And That's what we're fighting for. And the best thing we can do today is to get to know more about this particular figure, to learn from him, and to honor what he has done in the past for this beautiful continent, even though he didn't even get a chance to come and to see. That was one of his dreams, as we heard before, but he didn't get a chance to come and to see that because of what has happened to him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the link is in the comment section if you feel like you have anything that you want to come and raise and share about him, the stories or what he has done before, things that we can grasp and learn. This is the moment for you to come in and to share as well. Let me read a little bit of comments here and then we'll continue. During zone is a portions of folks don't even know that Malcolm X parents were Garviters. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know. That's why we need this knowledge. You know what, Mr. Junin Zone? Hit that link in the comment section, the StreamYard link, and then come. Share with us. We'd love to know more about it. Don't hesitate. Just come and speak to us. We as Africans, we have a lot to research and know nothing have happened or will happen without purpose. Great doors coming. Let's keep knocking, knowing till it all happen in light. Yes, Bright Africa. I agree with you. 100%. The NAACP hated Marcus Garvey. All right, what is NAACP? So Hill Nation, Anita Edward, it's good to see you. What we can learn from him is doing for self and being for Africa first. And I do mean Black African first. All right, so for that, for me, I'm always trying to be very careful with that because I acknowledge that we have a lot of Africans of different race, and I'm saying this not just because something just I believe, but it's something that I've seen as well. I have people who are really close to me. They have the spirit of Pan-Africanism, and they don't look like me. You know what I'm saying? So most of the time, I try to restrain myself from that because if you say that, then you're gonna exclude a lot of people, and especially northern part of Africa, and you're gonna exclude even some of Africans that we have on our regions here, and I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, Mr. Reach,
Yes,
the architect.
yes, brother. But to add on to what you say, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. This is something that we're gonna have to deal with, whether we like it or not. The fact that Africa, there's still an incursion happening in Africa even after Marcus Garvey.
Yeah,
and I believe that how we should solve that problem is that we need to control our land.
Yeah,
we need full control of our land, and also we all know Africa belongs to Africans. There was one point in history that Africa was called the land of the blacks. You know what I mean? So I believe that in order for us to get back there, regardless of what has happened to us now, what we have to do is that we have to following Marcus Garvey's path, so that we don't only get freedom because we don't have chains on our neck anymore, but we also get economic freedom and our land back. But anyone, what I'm saying, we shouldn't discriminate and so on. Anyone should be able to participate in the system that we create, but we must. One thing I'm determined to hold on to is that we must have control of this system. Everywhere African people are, we are being pushed to the bottom of every socio-economic chain, and that's been happening for centuries. So in order for us to get back to our rightful place, first of all, we need every inch of Africa back. We need every inch of that 12 million square miles. We don't care who's on it and how they got there. We don't have to push anybody off of it. Don't get me wrong, we don't have to be violent and those things. But there must be a certain standard that we set, so that people know that, like us living over here in the Western world, we are living in America as black people, but we don't own their things here. We don't own their land. We don't come here and dig up their resources.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that definitely have to stop, and whatever it is, they have to come to us, because that's what Africa is. Africa is for African people.
Yeah.
No matter what shade or color or whatever. But at the same time, because of the history that we know that Africa belongs to actual Africans. Yeah.
You know, what you're saying is it's very important point, and it's very important conversation that we really need to, to have to reconcile. For instance, I mean, we have two major figures that they actually dealt with that. We have like Mugabe, of Zimbabwe, who
Of
literally
course.
just say everybody should be, should get out of the country,
Yeah.
and we know what has happened to him. Into that country. And also you have another figure, Nelson Mandela, who didn't do anything like that, but he always tried to, to like for both people to live together, you know what I'm saying? But also we know where South Africa is at right now. So the point that you're raising is very important, that we need to like it's okay. Let me bring on Pi first. Pi,
Okay, no problem.
what would you have to say that before you say anything? I because this is very important conversation, man. Yes, Pi.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, my brother. It's good to have you, man. Thank you for coming in a short notice.
Yeah, it's fine. As far as Marcus Garvey in the Caribbean, I think he was a pretty important figure. Like two things that we always mention, like as far as the I know Ridge just touched on like taking back control of at least in our lands of how the systems of the world run. Like for example, it's easier for us to fly. One thing that Marcus Garvey touched on was both the land and the sea. It's easier for me to go to Europe, to travel to Europe, and it's less expensive than it is for people that are like from Black countries to travel to other African countries, or Africans to travel to other African countries. So I believe two things that he wanted to do was like he wanted to create like a sea, like he wanted to be able to trade. Like, I think it was called like Ridge. What was that called? Was it called like the Black Star Line? Right? Am I correct? Switch there. Oh yeah, it was called like I think it was called the Black Star Line, where he wanted to be able to trade between he wanted to create like a bunch of ships and so that he could trade between the Caribbean and Africa. And he wanted like Africa to be a dominant force, like a superpower. Like if you have the planes and the ships and you have the routes, you can be able to determine your own destiny when it comes to as far as trade. So yeah, Marcus Garvey was a pretty important figure in our history. Yeah.
And Pi, what would you say about the appreciate for your insight? What would you say about the conversation? I mean, the question that we just have right now. There's always been a huge debate about the, Africa and Black people, and Africa with all kind of races. There are a majority of people who wants Africa to be only for Black, and stand for that. And there are people like me who believe that yes, it's true, that's the case, and but we have majority of different races that are Africans now. They see this as their own. Forget about those people who they just here to take advantage of, but they're talking about those genuine people who don't look like me, but they see themselves, or they address themselves as an African, because maybe they're born here, their roots are here. It's just like, let's say, some of our African brothers and sisters who were born in United States or UK long time ago, and some of them, they consider themselves as American or as a British, but they're Africans, originated from here. So we have those kind of people as well here in the land of Africa. So what do you think is the line? Where do you think we should draw the line when it comes to that issue?
Well, I think one of the mistakes we make as diasporas is trying to judge how African someone is by how dark or how light their skin color is. In my opinion, I think if you want to be able to integrate somebody, whether it's it's in the Americas, it's in the Caribbean or Africa, I think you have to go with the mindset like you should go to Africa and be an African, meaning you should be able to learn like the traditions, the customs, and the ways of life of the people that actually live there, instead of coming from either one perspective on the continent or one perspective. From outside, you have to be able to compromise, I believe. But as far as sharing a land with other people, I know like there are many different kingdoms in Africa, like rival kingdoms. But as far as living with different races of people, that's a tough one, because it depends on what they did. It depends on what they did to be able to be there, you know what I mean? It depends. Yeah. Like for example, in North Africa, there are people that there are two groups of people. There are people that they conquered the land there, the Arabs, and then there are the Amazigh, the people that were there all along. And some of them, they weren't mixed. They weren't mixed. They weren't mixed. How do I say this? They weren't mixed by choice. They were mixed because they were forced to be mixed, right? Exactly. Like they're Amazighs, they're native to that land, and a lot of people, they come out here and say, "Oh, we have to get rid of them off of their land," but they were there like almost as long as the Africans were there, and they are African, they're native to their land. So that's one thing that you have to take into account as well. But I believe as far as like coming from living with the other groups of people that don't look like you, as far I know, like usually worldwide, like you see all these different types of genocides of Black people all around the world. So a lot of people, they want to unite on their skin color, like because other people are attacking us, we should unite on that. But I believe like if you see like West, Central, South, and the East and the Horn of Africa, if you see that area is free, then the neocolonial activity is partaking in North Africa, or like people that are trying to escape from West Africa to get to Europe through North Africa. Like I remember there were those that were genocided in Morocco because they're trying to escape by ship. That wouldn't happen anymore, because if you have your own customs, traditions, and ways of life in your own country, and it's developed as a different country, you wouldn't want to leave your country. So we should be focusing on that first, and then once we have that, then those other races of people that are being used, whether it's the North Africans, whether they're Amazigh or different ethnicity, doesn't matter. They'll have to, because that area of like sub-Saharan Africa is strong, they'll have to come to the table and stop doing those type of activities. You know what I mean? But that's my perspective. Yeah.
Yes, you know what you're saying. It's very true. And for me, in this case, I would really like for people to think about this, to consider this a little bit. As I said before, that we have a lot of our brothers and sisters who were born outside of Africa, outside of the continent, including you guys, right? But you identify yourself as African, because of the roots, because of where you're coming from. And we have a lot of people like that across the world. When you go to Brazil, when you go to America, when you go to Canada, when you go to everywhere, you find those, even to China. When you go to the, if I was born, if I was there and maybe got married to some, Korean lady and have a kid there who's African, that guy will address himself as an African as well as Korean at the same time, because he's Black, and we always think that Black is Africa, right? And then because he was born in there and he knows the language, he knows the society, community, everything, he considers himself as Korean as well. And it's really tough when you're born from a place like that. You understand the culture, you understand the language, that's where you grew up, but still you're not accepted by the community. We have those issues for brothers and sisters who are struggling away outside of Africa because they just can't find home. They can't fit because they're Black. They can't be embraced because they have been judged by their colors. But these people, everything about them, it's about that country where they are at right now. You know what I'm saying? So when we're dealing with this issue in Africa as well, we should also remember our diaspora, the one country that is outside there, that they're actually facing the same thing. So if we're going to go to the extreme measure that, you know what, you don't look Black, you ain't African, get out of the continent, then that's what will happen to our people. That's what has been happening to our people out there. Where are we going to draw the line? You find people who were born here a long time ago, genuinely, understand the culture, they love this place, they consider and they address themselves. And one of them, I had a conversation here with Mr. Benjamin Fernandez, the founder of NALA. All right, this guy, he was born here with his family a long time ago. You know, he speaks the language. He addressed himself as an African. He is an African, like regardless of how he looks like. But he is proud, a Tanzanian, proud African, and he's always addressing himself like that. So, for people like that, if we come and we start isolate them, that you ain't African because you don't look like this, I think we're doing the same exact thing that other people, other nations are doing towards Africans. And I think that's not the line we want to take down, because some of our people, they were even they're chotara, like mixed, and they were born here because, let's say, like you see like somebody like Trevor Noah, right? His dad was the Swiss, right? But his mom is South African, right? And he addressed himself as African because this is where he was born, this is where he grew up, and he sees himself African more than anything else. So people like that, where are we gonna put them, right? If we start doing this. That's why for me and for our movement, we always try our best to go to this measure that when you're talking about Africa is not just about one race. Yes, we understand that's how the beginning of everything began, but we're living in a very globalized society for so long, for many years, and we have people of all different colors who they're actually Africans. And so when you're talking about Africa, I think we should always we're talking beyond the color of our skin. We're talking beyond our languages, our look, our tribes. We're talking beyond that, because if we start seeing that, then we're drawing the line, and I'm not sure if we're gonna have that one Africa.
Yeah, brother, but that's everything you say is true. But you don't have to always, if you want to achieve something like this, you don't have to always blatantly be out there like that. Just as you said, right? You don't have to say, you're not black, you don't belong here. You know what I mean? No, that's just like no, that can't work. But at the same time, you can create the circumstances that would push the population of the continent of Africa to know that to know the history of what happened to Africa, where it's in the state that it's in, and know that, and to also push them in a direction, create the circumstances that will push them in a direction that they will understand who Africa really, well, historically belongs to, like, and what happened. That way we can move on from looking at each other as if, like, you're not black like me, you're not supposed to be here. No,
absolutely.
I don't believe that either, because look at how much cultures and tribes and languages in Africa. Like, it can't be like that directly. But as I said, we can use our media, use our news agencies, use our voice, those who can talk, to create the circumstances that will put that effort into place without blatantly putting it into place like that. That's what I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Can I expand on that one?
And I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Yes, Pai.
Like, to give an example of what Ridge was saying, like just how I believe in Tanzania, in order to own farmland, you have to be a citizen. I think, isn't that true? Isn't that the same with like housing as well? Like, if you want to have a house, you have to be a citizen. That's a way of protecting against neocolonial activities, because they'll be like it's more for the people that actually live there that are Tanzanians. So it's harder for foreigners to interfere. Like that's an example of that. Like creating for that.
Exactly. And I remember you had a previous guest. He was from Mali, and he said something that I'll never forget. He said, "What breeds terrorism is underdevelopment," and this is so true. Aid can't help terrorism. Aid and armies cannot help to solve terrorism. It needs development to solve terrorism, because people don't born terrorists. There is the circumstances around them that push them in that direction, whether they realize it or not. So the same way people are creating circumstances around us that push us in these negative directions and push us to fight against each other, whether through religious means or tribal means or language means, the same way we can use our energy and our power to create circumstances where people would make peace with each other in that specific geographical area called Africa. We can do that to media. We can do that to education. We can do that to teaching people about history, because ignorant is really bliss, you know. When people are ignorant of something, they just really don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not their fault. So what we do to help them is to educate them. And it's gonna be a long game. We can no longer play the easy game any longer. The easy game, the easy plaster and this deep cut game is making this cut even worse. So we have to play the long game, and also realize that there is as somebody posted in the chat there, that there's an actual material reality that's connected to the suffering of Black people. And you know, I read something about some of Karl Marx's work a couple months ago, and one thing I learned that stuck with me with that is that Karl Marx said that quantitative gain equals quantitative change or quantitative gain equals qualitative gain. So I think that a lot of Africans living on this planet thinking that we don't have to own nothing here because we're going to go to heaven and we're going to get everything. You know what I mean?
What kind of African is that, man?
Like, we shouldn't own nothing here. We shouldn't own nothing here. We shouldn't. We should just be waiting for God to come. Some of our old elders, they see a double rainbow and they say, oh, God is coming soon. They see things in the news. They say, God is coming soon. We don't have to do nothing. But the truth is, if we want peace, we have to get back what is ours, the materialistic stuff that God has given to us. We have to get it back. If we want to change the lives of our people, we can't depend on an outside source. The same way you can't buy protection. Same way you can't buy protection as a country, or as a nation, or as a continent. You can't buy quality. You can't buy it. You have to be able to own the resources that you have, and then have to be able to turn those resources into products. So you can produce. You can be producing instead of just being in a permanent consumer base. That's what Africans are in right now. We are in a permanent consumer base. That's where they have placed us. And even though Africans in America are what they say, the eighth most powerful nation in the world economically, I think they're still stuck in a permanent consumer base. That's why they can't they can't use their power, because they're stuck in a consumer base. But in order for us to build back ourselves, all I'm saying is that we actually need things on this earth. We can't just be wobbling around. You know what I mean? And I'll give you guys a break again, because I think someone is coming back in here.
Yeah. No worries. Roger that 100%. Guys, we have like 20 minutes left. Pi, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, as far as the producing that you consume aspect, I think that's really important, especially when it comes to farming, because we don't know what's going on with our food these days. Like, a lot of food is like chemically altered, and it makes you sick, and it makes you age faster, and that kind of stuff. So I believe that as far as the farmland, like, I believe if there's any really big major project, that will be the one to start, like being able to have a lot of healthy food that's in Africa and that's protected by, like, I don't know, like the militia or military, that kind of stuff. Because even where I live, like in St. Vincent, like, as far as the farmland, like we produce a lot of what we produce. I think 100% of what we consume. Like, you could eat really unhealthy food, and even the drinks that's unhealthy, and still lose like 20 pounds because it's still fresh. So imagine that actually the healthy food. So I believe that's really important to be able to actually own your land and be able to feed everybody, because I believe Africa is probably the only continent that can feed itself without importing food.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take a little break and then we'll be back in just 1 minute.
Micah. Micah.
Oh, this is like what you want.
Yeah.
I thought for real.
Really?
And I was like, yeah, me too.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, man. This is Swahili Nation One Africa. I'm here with my brother, the architect Reach, and I had Pi as well, but Pi just drove off. Yes, my brother, the architect. We have pretty much like 18 minutes. Yes.
That's perfect, man. We don't need more time than that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, and you know what? This is such an important conversation on this day, because Marcus Garvey, that's what he believed in. He believed in digging and looking from the inside of ourselves as people and producing so that we can not just be consumers around here. You know what I mean? So this is such an important conversation to have on this day. And Marcus Garvey, you know, the slave ship dropped him off in the Caribbean. So the blood is close as well. I'm still up to this day proud of, like, I'm so amazed of his work, because this was during a time where there was no such thing as the internet. The internet wasn't even created yet. Yeah. So we, as African people now on this planet, we literally have 100 and something years more power, 100 and something years more knowledge, 100 and something years more connectivity. Our population has grown so big since then, probably. And there's a way, there's a way to actually unite Africa, But when people tell us who they are, we have to accept it. When these people, when some of these Europeans come down and mess up our societies and put people against each other, we can't make excuses for them.
Yeah, that's true.
We can never do that. Don't do it, because it will mean that you're subservient to whatever they think. Like, you're basically telling them you're not on the same thought level. They have to think for you. If you look at, but you know what? It's gonna be so difficult, because how do you stop something like this? How do you stop a train like this? I mean, France has been getting uranium from the Sahel for centuries, man. Like, literally, they're still digging up the uranium, and then people there don't have no electricity. So how do you unite Africa? How do we even think about it as young people who go to university and want to use our talents to this goal? How do we actually build back pride in ourselves when we're still literally under colonialism? We're like Vietnam. We're like Vietnam in 2022 when it comes to France. France ruled Vietnam for how long? Took their rice, took all their resources. We're like Vietnam happening right now in the 21st century, in 2022. We are still Vietnam in the Sahel. So,
you know what's funny about that? There was a time for like 3 or 4 years where Vietnam, they had like 6 million soldiers, and they wouldn't let anyone build any bases because they were so scared of what happened at the Vietnam War. Like, no, we're not putting up with this, man. They scaled down recently, though.
Yeah, they learn from their mistakes.
Yeah, there's something that's very interesting. There's something that Pi, pointed area, and I've been very passionate about it, recently, about the food and organic food and everything. Recently I dropped the video It's kind of like a vlog, and I think very soon, I'm invited again to go to film somewhere. So maybe soon I'll be able to come up with another one, kind of like promoting, you know, more of our organic food, right? Like our countries in Africa where we are right now, we're supposed to be producing food on our own, giving our foods to our people, you know, and not importing food from the outside. You know, there's a lot of chemicals, you know, in the food, and you never know who is targeting you through your food or through all those kind of stuff. You'll never know that, you know. Maybe even technology that we have to check those food before they come to our countries, maybe it's not that good enough to understand like what is in there. You know what I'm saying? There was a time in the country where I am right now, there was a time like they were importing this Chinese rice that it was not really rice, but it was a rubber. Like it was literally like something like this, but small, like it's little rubbers of rice, right? And people were actually getting sick, and some of them were dying because of that. And you know, they came to figure out that later on, right? While a lot of people, they already face consequences. These are the impact of importing food from the outside, because you know, everyone is the enemy of Africa, you know, no matter the fact. I mean, even the friendship and collaborations that we have is just to take advantage of one another. You know, those are kind of relationships we have in this world when it comes to one country and another, one continent and another. So, but one thing that we can do, and I believe we can do that, is producing our own food. You know, telling our people to eat more of organic food, because that's how our ancestors were. That's what they were eating all the time. You know, roots. They were eating roots, fruits. You know, food like that's why those village people, man, villages, they're very strong and they live for so long because they only eat organic food, the food that is not exploited, you know, by anything. And I think this is something that we're talking about this, and we have young people who are doing like kind of like those things, like the people I shared before, or one of our sister from South Africa, you know, some Gelisiwe, you know, who is doing like micro farming, all this kind of stuff. So the point that you raised, Pi, it's really necessary, and I think we have all responsibility to push, you know, our government and our people, even, you know, our families, or even empower those farmers who are, you know, usually doing that, so that we may have abundant food in Africa. We may supply food for our brothers and sisters in Africa. If we export that, but not importing.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I finished, but you can go ahead.
Oh, because even if you look at Libya, like it was a war-torn country for decades. But as soon as they started, when they created their own global like seeding bank, when they created their own global seeding bank, they Gaddafi created like a man-made river, and when he had his own industrial farming tools that he got from, I don't know whether he got it from Russia or Europe. I'm not sure about that. I couldn't find information on that. But he had industrial farming equipment. When he had all those things, it's like the people they weren't fighting over like limited like farming resource anymore, and their intelligence was increased because they're eating healthy food. They're not fighting over limited food resource and that kind of stuff, or rationing or anything like that. Yeah.
I appreciate, man. BJ, welcome to the team. We have 10 minutes left. I want to give that opportunity to you to share what you have in your mind. Welcome back.
Oh, thank you. I love that you guys are talking about Marcus Garvey. It's like just to see how he has such a view of what we were supposed to be over 100 years ago, to try to unify us, because he knew there was strength in unity. And you just talk about the food insecurity. Growing your own food is so critical, because right now, you know, we don't even in America we don't even eat real food. It has been genetically modified. You were talking about the plastic. I mean, you can literally, you know, we can't even consume it. So that means your body is getting no nutrients, which is critical for our survival. And they don't care. I mean, you know, if they're selling you soy is not even supposed to be consumed. George Washington Carver invented it for the Ford Motor Company so they could be able to paint plastic. Yet now all of a sudden, it has been flipped. That this is something that's good for you, soy oil, so this, that, we don't even know what we're getting. And they use marketing to convince us that it's good for us. And yet, here in America, we have so many people who have so many health problems. Cancer is going all out of the place. I mean, it's just like a common cold here. And no one's connecting the dots of why are so many people getting cancer. Just found out that some soil, that they had to do some upgrades to the gas lines and forced everybody to put the meters outside. Find out, talking to someone, they put contaminated soil and replaced the good ground earth that we had. And I don't know what that's going to cause in the future, because corporations can get away with everything. And some money, as I said in the past, is not good money. And so you can't, if nothing else, you have to hold tight to your land, hold tight to your traditions, keep your food as pure as you possibly can, because again, they're invading Europe with these genetically modified foods. And greed is endless. It's never satisfied. And they'll look at, even though they know you have the best, we don't care because we can't figure out how to profit from that. I can't sell my Roundup or my seeds or my this. How am I making money on you doing something natural? So you're going to have those who's going to oppose you and say this is not right, that it's not really good, based upon these studies, based upon these PhDs who've been doing this for whatever. You've been doing it forever. You can see the proof in it. You can see how healthy your people are. Why would you change that?
Yeah. Oh. Thank you, BJ, for your contribution. Right now, if you guys don't know, I actually came to visit, my parents, and man, I love this, man. I'm just sad that I need to leave as soon as possible, but I love this because the food here, man, Mama's food is organic food. Like, there's a little clip I'll be sharing, on my, personal channel, Mika Chavala. You guys can check it out. But man, like, you have not, like, it's not just about the food, eating Mama's food, but it's about how I feel after eating that food.
Because there's love in it.
Yeah, something is pure. Like, something is like, oh man, like even right now as I'm talking, I wish I can just run on home as soon as possible, eat another food, like it's healthy food. And these days people, they think like, fast food is the food, this and this is that, but we have everything right here in Africa, and I just hope that there'll be, I just hope that, leaders or people come up with a system that will, promote our local farmers and just make sure that we eat our own
and support
food.
them.
Exactly, and support them. You don't put in your stomach something from somewhere you don't even know how it was produced. You have no idea how it came to existence, and you put in your food in your stomach. Man, that's your health.
When you ate the food there, how did that make you feel versus the food that you're eating when you're back in Tanzania? You could tell your body could tell the difference.
Indeed. Like, look at my body right now. Look at me right now.
Yep.
This, like, you can see, like, honestly, the food that I was eating there, to be honest, if it is meat, if it's anything, it's something that has been frozen for months.
What chemicals they had to put in there to keep it.
And it doesn't even have taste. Like, the rice, it doesn't even smell like rice. You know what I'm saying? Like when you come here home, like, if you cook rice here, man, they're like 100, 200 meters, you can smell rice. Like, you can can smell the food, but not there. Man, like
Yeah,
all
because
the
like here, everything tastes like water. A banana tastes like water. A pear tastes like water. A peach tastes is no flavor.
that's exactly how I felt there. It's exactly how I felt there. That's why even them, they really. That's why they have to eat. Asian, they're really careful with their health, so they eat a lot of stuff. They eat like roots. There's this something called ginseng. It really helps, to boost up immune system. They know that we're eating a lot of toxic things, so they try to eat as much as like roots and all those stuff to boost their immune system. But we have here in Africa things like that, natural, like everywhere, in all the places. It's just like, man. Anyways, guys, this is the discussion that we're gonna need to come, and have another long discussion about, organic food and all those stuff. I have 4 minutes, but
Yeah.
I'll give 1 minute to each one of you guys to wrap up.
All right.
The architect.
Yes. I just wanted to say, having the land is one thing, working the land is another thing, because I can't understand how I can see where how I can sit down and look at the internet and look at certain things and see where the world is going, but a lot of African leaders haven't yet, because farms are being automated in China like crazy right now. They have drones doing everything. They have drones marking out the spot. They have the other drones that come and clean the area. Are robots. They have the other robots that come and want to plant the seeds constantly every day. That's one thing with robots. They don't get tired. If you have a lot of people to feed, that's the best way to do it. And let's not forget also, as we remember Marcus Garvey today, that Amilcar Cabral was an agronomist, not just a revolutionary. So when he was not on the battlefield, he was training and sending his PAIGC fighters in certain areas to make sure that they can feed people, to make sure that they know how to plant and know how to feed people. That's one thing we can't forget as well. So I believe that our generation, we have to almost do a time lapse. I mean, not a time lapse, but sorry. We have to almost loop ourselves into the future when it comes to farming and feeding ourselves, because we are a little bit behind right now. I'm not going to lie, when it comes to feeding ourselves. I can't believe rice is still being used in 2022 as a weapon against our people. Aid is being used as a weapon against our people.
Yeah.
And we have all that land. So Benjamin, we have to think about the future. We have to really think about the future of our people, not just ourselves, and see how we can actually start making moves. If the leaders are not going to do this, Benjamin, the leaders are not going to do this, and if they do it, they're not going to do it fast enough. That's how I see it. So we need to lead. So I'll leave you guys with that.
Appreciate it. I'm gonna have to stop here, guys. I'm already running out of time.
That's okay.
We're coming back to another show in 10 minutes. The open mic show today. We're gonna do a little bit airy because of the guest that we're having today. Because of the time difference and all those stuff. So we'll be here live again at 6 p.m. I hope I can see everybody that is here, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining me, Pi, BJ, and the architect. See you guys soon.
Take care, enjoy, and
bye.
Eat plenty of that good food.
Thank you so much. Take care,
everybody.
Appreciate you too. Guys, appreciate so much. Thank you for being here today, for joining. We're going to definitely have this conversation with my people right here again about the food and everything. It's important to have that conversation. And I'll be back in 10 minutes for another live show of the Open Mic Show. We'll be here live. And it's going to be very short. It might be only 1 hour because of time difference as well. So just be here on time so that you may not miss anything. I love you guys. I'll see you in a minute.
Oh, this is like what you wanted?
Yeah.
I thought for real.
Really?
And I was like, yeah, me too.